And welcome back. Well, Memorial Day kicks off the unofficial start to summer, and it's considered the most dangerous time for team drivers. Add that to a serious case of spring fever after weeks of quarantine, and now is the time to talk with your teen driver before summer activities kick in. Ann Scallon is the editor of Before the Wheel, an online resource for parents and teens starting to drive. Good morning to you, Ann.
Good morning.
So good to see you. I think so many people can relate to this feeling of having been restricted so long that this is a time that everybody needs to be very cognizant of those getting on the road for Memorial Day, right?
Right. It's sort of a transition. So usually they're getting out of school and they're having a graduate. Many people are having a graduation ceremony, which they're not having this year. But I'm sure they're having the graduation party. So with that in mind, there's a lot of built up energy, and they really kind of sometimes want that excitement of speed in the car.
It's true. I've noticed just as a driver when I was going into the studio or whatnot, people are not really paying as much attention to the rules of the road. I think because they assume there's less people out. And so I've noticed that you have to be more defensive just every day. So teens in general, what I like is you say this is a time that we're all a little bit closer. We've gone through a very unique experience together, and it is a good time to sit down. I like what you say. You can do it in a fun, casual way. What is a fun, casual way to sit down with a teen?
So yeah, so like you said, we're getting closer to our family, and so a lot of times going is sitting out on the back deck and just having a soda or something or some ice cream and just kind of weave it into the conversation. It should never be this do and don't, because teens and people in their late teens, early 20s, they just run away from that. This is the time when they're starting to feel good about making their own decisions. So what you want to do is kind of weave it into the conversation and bring up the fact that you just mentioned. I find myself doing U-turns everywhere where I never did them because there's so much space now. So you're right, we're losing some of that decision making that we had before the quarantine.
Yeah,
So
it's not
just
quite so sharp.
a nice conversation with them in a relaxed environment.
Well, I like that. I think it's important. So, what should we talk about? Let's first kind of go through like electronic devices, phones, and texting. What should the message be?
The message really needs to continue to be free of all that. Your mind should, there is a lot going on the road, even though it looks mundane. The mundane, as we all know, changes very quickly. And honestly, I'm just getting more and more concerned. I called someone last week. I was supposed to do like a PowerPoint presentation, and they were going to watch it while they were driving.
Oh, no way.
Yes, so I had to say no, absolutely. I cannot do that, and
Mm.
you need to call me back when you're in a stable situation. So we need to really take this seriously. Our brains, scientifically, cannot be focused on driving when something more interesting is in front of us.
Well, you think about just how we respond. Our heart rate goes up when we hear our phone buzz or ding or whatever it may be. So if we're like that as adults, teens, it's amplified. You also say be courteous and be aware. It's that simple. Really pay attention.
Right. I mean, nothing's more unsettling than when you hear of a pedestrian or a bicyclist or somebody on a scooter or a child being hit. I mean, you have to be aware. You have to be scanning. People come out of nowhere, and they're not always following the rules of the road because they think the drivers are following the rules. And so, especially as teens who don't have as much experience, you want them to keep practicing that. And having a teen drive less is not a good idea. The more practice they get, the better off they are.
Thanks so much for joining us, Anne. It was great.
Thank you.
The website to learn more is beforethewheel.com.